Until one day, I really was just like, F it. I'm gonna take ownership of everything. I'm gonna take ownership of my life. And that is true empowerment. Okay, that, my friends, people talk about we're empowering people, we're empowering women, I'm empowering myself. True empowerment is when you embody power. This is like the third time I've cried on my channel. The one question that you need to ask yourself, and it is, so hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about how to transform your life and the one question you need to ask in order to do that. So if you're interested in a video like that, please keep watching. So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm excited for this video. It was prompted by some things, but basically I want to talk about manifesting made basic. And I want to talk about how I was able to transform my life and how you can too. And the one question you have to ask yourself in order to do that. So let's just get into it. So I was on Facebook, and I don't often go on Facebook that much these days anymore. But I do like to kind of look at the memories at this point. You know, the memories, the Facebook memories, we have a love-hate relationship thing going on there. But, you know, something interesting came on my memories today specifically. And it was the one video that I did on the time that I spent in the mountains and what I learned. And it's interesting, you know, I was looking at, I didn't rewatch that video because I don't like to rewatch those videos, to be honest with you. But I did kind of go back in my memory about what I was going through that day. And it's interesting, the whole thumbnail, I don't even recognize that person anymore. It's so weird to look back a year ago and I don't recognize that person. And like I said, it's interesting. And, you know, I talk about my story all the time on this channel, how I was able to transform my life in less than a year. And even that video of the time that I spent in the mountains, when I ran off to the mountains, and the time that I spent there, and the things that I learned, and I created that video on the things that I learned, and boy, did I learn some things. And so that's what I want to talk about in this video, and how I was able to implement those things that I learned in the mountains to really completely transform my life. Now, I talk about it in Manifesting Made Basic all the time, how I was able to transform my life in less than a year. And I mean, I look at my life now and I look around me and I saw this life for myself, and it's quite miraculous when I think about it. And so that's why I even created Manifesting Made Basic AF, because I realized that it's really basic. And so if you do not know my story, I have been able to transform my life in less than a year. I went from homeless and a single mom to buying my dream home and with my partner in less than a year. And I'm here in my dream home, working on some more things. Yes, girlfriend, working on some more things. And it's just crazy. And like, especially if you follow me on this channel, then you know the journey. Like, you can literally see it. And I see it in my Facebook memories all the time. And so in this video, I kind of just wanted to do a casual chit chat video about the transformation, about how I was able to do it, and how you can do it too. And the one question that you have to ask yourself when it comes to transforming your life. I mean, this is huge. And so I just want to get into it. Now, when I did that video on the things that I learned, behind the scenes in that video, which I did not share, and not many people, my mama knew, not many people knew about what I was experiencing. Now, I say I went from homeless. At that point, I had to leave where I was staying, and I had nowhere to go. Like, literally nowhere to go. I mean, my parents would always have let me, go back home. But my parents would have let me come back home, that kind of thing. So I could have went back to Georgia, but I did not want to do that. So I decided to stay in Colorado. But the thing is, and I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this, especially if you live in Colorado, rent prices have skyrocketed. Uh, Apartments, I mean, they were hard to come by. Places to stay were hard to come by. It definitely was a seller's market, and it still might be for all I know. But like finding a place to live was really, really challenging. Like I had one prospect and I was waiting on them to give me the green light on that thing, because I had been calling, I had nowhere to go. So yeah, it was crazy, and I had, like I said, I had nowhere to go. And but regardless of all that, I held to the vision, right? So I like literally was like, I have nowhere, I have to be out by Friday and I have nowhere to go. But I held to the vision, I held to my faith, and just held to it. But I did hold to the vision. And, I think a lot of times when people are pushed up against the wall, that's when they start doing this plan B, plan C, and stuff like that. And I understand it. I mean, logically, it makes sense, right? But I think it's important to really hold to the vision. That doesn't mean not be logical about your life and not be smart. It just means hold to the vision no matter what's going on in your reality. Hold to the faith no matter what's going on in your reality, okay? And so even though I was like, hey, this is not what my vision is, I wanted to have a home, I wanted to spend Christmas. And it's interesting, I had a vision of a wreath, and I might show you guys my wreath on my door. And every time I look at that wreath, I'm like, that was it. That's what it was. That was it. It's so crazy. And even though I had no idea how I was going to get to this point, I still held to the vision. I wasn't going to change my vision, even though where I was at that point in my life, I had no clue how that was going to unfold. I still held to the vision, right? And so that's really, really important. And so I talk about and manifesting made basic, holding the energetic state. And so holding to the vision basically is holding that energetic state, holding to the vision, and holding to that person that's in the vision, right? Holding to holding that vision of that person that has the thing, that energetic state. And that's what I did. And that's how I was able to transform my life in less than a year. You can see it on my channel. And you can even see, like, I can go back on my channel and see the evolution of Amber and how I managed to deepen my faith and even change how I viewed life, right? Because you can see even on my channel the areas or the points in my life where I was the victim, right? You can see it, like you can see it in some of the things that I was talking about and how I thought I was the victim. Until one day I really was just like, F it. I'm going to take ownership of everything. I'm going to take ownership of my life. And that is true empowerment. Okay, that, my friends, people talk about we're empowering people, we're empowering women, I'm empowering myself. True empowerment is when you embody power. That's true empowerment, my friends. So when you embody the power that's within you, that light, yes, that light, that energy, it's all the same thing. When you get it, you get it. That light that's within you, when you start owning that, that's true empowerment. So I talk about all the time about scripting. I talk about all the tools, the techniques in which help you embody that energetic state. We talk about in Manifesting Made Basic, pretty much you're embodying an energetic state. That person with that confidence, that person with that house, that person with that beautiful marriage, that person with that family, you're embodying that energetic state, that in which you will shift into. But you're embodying it in the present now. That is what's going to change your life. And we talk about this in Manifesting Made Basic and the techniques in which help you embody that version of yourself that you see in that vision, right? So what are different techniques? We talk about scripting, we talk about affirmations, we talk about journaling, we talk about subliminals, we talk about these things that are helping us really step into that energetic state. Now, these are all tools. These are tools, right? And now I want to talk about the one question you have to ask yourself to transform your life. The one question that you need to ask yourself. And it is, what does it look like? What does it look like and what does it feel like? Because we talk about wanting to have an amazing life. We talk about wanting to have an amazing love, wanting to have an amazing car, whatever it is that you desire. But what does it look like and what does it feel like? I guess those are two questions, but that is the one question that you have to ask yourself. And these tools and techniques that we implement, the scripting, the hypnosis, the subliminals, the guides in which we're going to talk about, the guides and the printables that we have at amberreturner.com. All of these things are tools and guides and techniques to help us with that vision. What does that vision look like? And what does it feel like? Okay. So let's talk about, now let's shift into the love vetting tool, which is launching tomorrow, which I'm so excited for. Because here's the thing, a lot of people, desire love, desire relationship, desire marriage, but what does that look like and what does that feel like? And are we manifesting from a hurt place, a wounded place, a broken place? And so we want to really get a gauge, get a healthy vision on what that looks like. And so the love vetting tool, which is the likely one vetting evaluation that will be launching tomorrow, is a great way to do that, to transform your life and actually have a healthy perspective on what love, what marriage should look like, right? And so some things that these techniques, these guides, these tools help us is to really hone in on what that looks like, what that feels like. This is huge, okay? That's the one question you should be asking yourself. And it's so important when it comes to manifesting and transforming your life. It is huge. It's so, I can't stress how important that question is, because you have to know where you're going. You have to have the vision of where you're going, because if you do not, you are just moving forward in the dark. And so the love tool, likely one vetting evaluation, when it comes to marriage, we want to talk about what that looks like, what that feels like. And so what are some characteristics in which he embodies, and what's some things we should be looking for, so we hold that in our consciousness. And so once we become aware, we hold these things in our consciousness. So what does healthy look like? What does healthy feel like? What does a healthy relationship look like and feel like? Okay. And so some of the things we talk about on the love tool, which is a likely one vetting evaluation, and that's why we have the acronym love, because it's a mouthful. Some things to consider are future planning. Is he, goal oriented? Is he future oriented? And prospecting. So is he like on his phone all the time? Is he into social media and things like that? Like, you have to, when it comes to your vision, be specific. Be specific. Now, I can tell you countless times where I've manifested things. Things have come into my reality and my consciousness, my awareness, where I intended for them, but I wasn't specific enough, and it was what it was, but it wasn't what I thought it was. Because I can tell you, I wrote in my book, I wrote about the time that I manifested the G-Wagon. Like, I was actually trying to manifest a G-Wagon that I owned. that I owned. And so in my vision, I was so, because I was trying to win it. So I was so excited. I took the picture. I was taking a picture in front of the G-Wagon. That was my vision. So where I was living at the time, I see G-Wagons all the time, by the way. But like, where I was living at the time, you rarely saw a G-Wagon. Like, if you saw a G-Wagon, it was like, wow. As a matter of fact, we saw a G-Wagon. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Wow, it's my dream car. And my partner at the time was like, you want to take a picture in front of this G-Wagon? I'm like, oh, yes, of course. And he takes the picture of me in front of the G-Wagon. And I look at the picture of myself standing in front of this G-Wagon. And I realize that was my vision. Because you know what? I wasn't specific enough. I wasn't specific enough that I actually owned the G-Wagon. It came to fruition. But it wasn't what I really, truly intended for. But I wasn't also specific enough. So you have to be specific. And that's why we go through these things. That's why we use these tools, these guides, these techniques to really help us get specific when it comes to the vision. So some other things that we're talking about when it comes to the love tool is his perspective on women. That's a big one. And I'll say this. When it comes to, relationships and relating to relationships, you might encounter a man that is physically attracted to women, but doesn't cherish, honor, and really value women. There's a difference, because you can be a heterosexual male and actually be sexually attracted to women, but don't like women. And so that is a huge thing, because when it comes to intending for a relationship, a healthy, amazing, feminine, masculine energy relationship, a power coupling dynamic, we want the man to really cherish feminine energy, to honor feminine energy, and in turn we will honor masculine energy and masculinity. So it's like, you want that. You don't want just someone that is attracted to you, but actually loves, honors, and cherishes you, values you, and sees you as amazing, right? So we want to look at those things, and we got to think about, how does that look and how does that feel? Okay. And so we also look at his lifestyle health score when it comes to vetting, when it comes to having a power coupling dynamic. Is his lifestyle, like, what is he into? Is he into healthy, masculine energy hobbies, or are they self-destructing type hobbies? Like, I'm not going to get into it, but like self-destructing type hobbies. Is he into those kind of things? Those are things that we should be looking at when it comes to vetting. Vetting our pool as in plural potentials, okay? Plural, okay? And so those are things that we should be looking at. Again, when it comes to manifesting and transforming life, you need to be specific. And we use these techniques of affirmations, of, scripting, hypnosis, subliminals, tools, and guides to really get specific on how that vision, that version of you, looks like, and how that version of you and that vision feels like. So how does it look and how does it feel? Okay. And how does it feel? I feel like those are kind of the same question, but it could be two different questions, because how does it feel really matters too. That, my friends, is super important, because you might get the thing, and I've done this. You might get the thing, but it does not feel good. Like, I've manifested a lot of things, especially from masculine energy. I've manifested things from masculine energy, but that wasn't my natural essence, and so it did not feel good to me. And so looking at this, especially if you desire a power coupling dynamic, it's like, how does this feel? Like, you got to be in touch with who you are too. So these are really, really important when it comes to transforming a life and manifesting. We talk about, like I said, we talk about these things and these techniques and how to shift into that energetic state and manifesting made basic. So I invite you guys to check out Manifesting Made Basic AF. This is how I transform my life. I invite you to check out that video. I'm not quite sure what it looks like either. I'm like, I don't know if I want to invite you to check out that video, but I think that it's important to see, because I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to look at it, but I think it's important for people to see the shift, right? I think that, I know personally, I like to see those stories. I like to hear those stories, to see that it encourages me to keep going. It encourages me to really deepen my faith, right? My faith is pretty deep, right? I've proven this, when you hold to the vision and holding to your faith, my faith is pretty deep. But sometimes, we have good days and bad days. And sometimes it's a really great thing to see other people do it, other people talk about it, to stay motivated and stay on that path of righteous thought. Because pretty much what all of this boils down to is righteous thought. And when I say righteous thought, I mean right thoughts, like right thoughts. The loving thoughts, right thoughts, the right thoughts that are going to shift you into the greatest, most beautiful, incredible version of yourself. That's what all of this is about. That's what all of this is about. And yes, experiencing beautiful, amazing things, homes, cars, and wealth, abundance, and all that stuff is amazing too. That makes us feel good. It's not a bad thing. But it's all of this, it's just shifting us into a greater, more amazing version of ourselves. Not just ourselves too, but everyone around us. And that's true love. That's unconditional love. I've talked about holding to a vision of the people around you at their highest version. Okay, so here's another story. I didn't want to make this video too long. I think this is a really important story to share. I think that this is a great way to wrap this up. So when I did premarital counseling, I took so many gems away from premarital counseling, even though I still ended up effing it up. Anyways, I did listen. I did listen to it. I didn't implement, but I did listen. And one of the things that our pastor said in premarital counseling was, it's Corinthians something. I'm not good with keeping up with Bible scriptures, but I just remember it's like, love keeps no records of wrong. And I just was like, what does that mean? I like to contemplate on these things. And at the time I thought it meant something different. At this point in my life, I understand what it means. It means holding to that loving version of that person, because love keeps no records of wrong. So that means, I've said this in a lot of videos, and I talked about holding to a version of that person, if they can change or not, and holding a loving version of that person. That's pretty much what it means, because oftentimes when we get to a point where we're like needing to hold to a loving version of someone, some stuff has gone down, right? Some stuff has gone down. Let's just be real. But it's about, okay, shifting those negative thoughts, those more wrongful thoughts, I suppose you can say, thoughts that are not loving when it comes to that person, and shifting it to righteous thought, more elevated thoughts, more loving thoughts, more I can't think of another adjective to put here, but shifting from the records of the past, the mistakes of the past, and all these things, and shifting your thoughts to righteous thoughts, because your thoughts create. And so just like your thoughts create a version of yourself, and you're shifting into that more confident Amber, that loving Amber, that more compassionate Amber, that wealthy Amber, these versions of Amber that exist, you can do that with other people. And so love keeps no records of wrong when it comes to yourself, when it comes to other people as well. And so it's all about discipline in your thoughts, and having righteous thoughts. Most of the time. I mean, we're human beings most of the time. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm so grateful for where I'm at now, and I'm grateful for where I'm going. So that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. I invite you guys to subscribe to my channel. I want to talk more about, I like to talk about love and relationships, but I also want to talk about total transformation. That's what we talk about in Manifesting Made Basic, and how to totally transform your life, where your life looks completely different in the most amazing, incredible way. It is possible for you, and I hope you believe it. Because I believe it for you. Like, if I'm not I'm about to start preaching. I don't want to cry either. But I don't want to cry. But the power of God is amazing. Amazing. And, I just need a moment. But I do want to say, if you ever are in a space where you have lost hope, because I was there. This is like the third time I've cried on my channel. If you're ever in a position where you've lost hope and you think there's no way out, and I'm telling you, that's not the truth. It's not the truth. And so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I do videos on manifesting feminine energy and the power of the subconscious mind. And that's all for this video, and I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.